Okay, good afternoon everybody and welcome to Online Learning with Miss Giddings. So as you know, we are unable to go to school at the moment, so that does not mean that we cannot stop learning. So this is going to be the first of our online learning lessons, continuing on with our crime and punishment. So our first lesson is going to be on why was the bloody code abolished? Okay, in this lesson, we're going to be able to describe what the bloody code was, analyse reasons behind its abolition, and explain why the bloody code was abolished. Okay, two key words though: abolished, which means formally put an end to, and capital punishment, which is the practice of executing someone. So, what was the bloody code? So, in 1723, a system known as the bloody code was established in Britain. This imposed the death penalty for over 200 offences. Capital punishment legislation and acts proliferated in a haphazard manner. More and more acts put forward capital punishment. More and more different crimes were given the death penalty throughout the years. So, what kind of offences were actually punishable by death according to the bloody code? Number one, which is kind of obvious: murder. If you murdered someone, you're going to be put to death. Arson, if you purposely set fire to something. Forgery, so that means when you're faking something, purposely faking things like money, goods. Stealing horses or sheep. If you stole someone's horse or a sheep or a cow, you were given the death penalty. Stealing from a rabbit warren. If you took a rabbit from its home, you would be put to death. Pickpocketing goods worth a shilling, so that's around £30 in nowadays money. Being out at night with a blackened face. If you purposely went out at night having put black on your face, you would be punished by death. Stealing from a shipwreck. Some of you may be thinking, why is that punishable by death? It's no one's property. Well, according to this, it is. This is still stealing. And personally, my favourite one: wrecking a fish pond. Don't think we need to explain that one anymore. Now, with the introduction of the bloody code, the death penalty must have increased. More and more people were given the death penalty because more and more crimes were given the death penalty, right? Have a look at this graph, or this table instance. In the early 17th century, so before the bloody code, remember 17th century means 1600s, in London 150 people were put to death by hanging. Whereas in the early 18th century, that was reduced down to 20. So 18th century, 1700s, so when the bloody code was introduced. The same happens in Devon. In the early 17th, there was 25 people. Come the 18th century, there was only 3. So fewer people were in fact hanged underneath the bloody code than before it. So that must mean that it's not actually that effective. The bloody code was brought in to stop crime, but then to stop crime, won't that mean that more death penalty rate must have increased because more crimes were given that, right? So why was it actually abolished? So there are such reasons like public executions didn't work. People went to these executions for fun. They were seen as, nowadays, like football matches, everyone would congregate to these hangings. And the issue of these hangings was that as there's more people, more crowds, actually more crime took place there. You wouldn't notice if you had something stolen from you. The ideas about punishments were also changing. People thought the death penalty was wrong. It shouldn't happen. Why, for such trivial things such as wrecking a fish pond, were you given the death penalty? Juries also refused to convict criminals to death. They thought that the punishment should fit the crime like they do nowadays. Juries would actively change their minds about what punishment should be given. So if someone did steal £30 worth of goods, they would reduce it down to £29.99 or £29.50 so as to not give you the death penalty. Transportation was more of an alternative to the death penalty. They didn't want people to hang, so they sent them off to Australia and to the colonies. Robert Peel, the Prime Minister at the time, thought that it was a lot better to reform prisoners instead of killing them, turn them into better civilians in order to help society. If you just kill them, you're not actually changing anything. Executions were moved inside for reasons such as the public executions didn't work, but it didn't actually stop people committing these crimes. It just meant that executions weren't seen. Lastly, crime rates were still going up. The Bloody Code was supposed to reduce the crime rates, not actually make them increase. And some people even thought that it would trigger a revolution, such as people received the death penalty for such minor crimes. So this links to the French Revolution, where more and more people were killed for minor crimes, and then people rose up against the people that actually put that forward. They didn't think it was fair. So Britain did not want that to happen. So just a quick recap then. Bloody Code, introduced in 1723. Over 200 different crimes were given the death penalty. But actually, did it solve crime? Did it reduce crime? Less people were given the death penalty, but actually crime rates were still going up. So it wasn't effective at all, which therefore would lead to its abolition for these reasons on the screen right now. So if you have a look on your handouts page right now, there is some work for you to do. Okay, it follows on from everything in this video. As I said, it's only a quick video to help you understand some of the topics, but there's loads of different interactive activities for you to complete on your handouts page. If you have any issues, please email me, okay? So that is the end of our online lesson about the abolition of the Bloody Code. Just keep waiting, and the next lesson will be on shortly. Thank you.